Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable from Cape Town. Did I tell y'all I was traveling? Y'all knew there was a trip coming up, right? Like, not a trip for me, but like a trip for like the travelers. Did I say anything about this? I left on Saturday, 14-hour flight, brutal 14-hour flight. I usually get a lay down seat. And this time, like they wanted the extra $2,000 for me to lay down. It's usually like 500. And I was like, absolutely not. Next time, I might just have to pay it though. Cause you know how like when you sit in a braid chair too long, like after like hour 6, like your ass start to hurt. And that's what happened on the plane. I was in a priority seat, which has like a little extra cushion, but like I put the pillow under my ass and that helped for like another hour. And then like I had to like take my neck thing off and then put that under my ass. That helped more. But still, I got up and walked around as much as I could. The aisles are tighter in that area. I'm not used to flying back there. Not anymore. It was an ordeal. I made it here safely. I got some vacation hair before I left. It's like scissor by way of Shaka Khan. I ain't never had this much hair in my head before. It's still like the boho locks because that's what I'm into right now. It's very beautiful, as it should be, because like I paid a very lovely woman a shit ton of money for this hair. And she was like, it'll last like up to 6 months. And I was like, I'm gonna keep this hair in my head for 6 months. And she was like, you can if you want. We'll check in around month 3. All that said, it's a lot of hair. And I could go through and thin it, but I think I like having this much hair. I've been flipping it around and shit. I like it. I landed at 3 o'clock on Sunday. Got to my building. I always stay at the same building when I'm here. Got to my building around 5, unpacked all my stuff because I'm neurotic that way. And then I went to dinner with one of my friends at 7. They've got this really great restaurant at the waterfront, Marble. It was the last restaurant I ate at. I had lunch there on the day that I left back in December. I wanted to start my trip there so it could kind of feel like a seamless transition back into the country. Plus, one of my friends, I hadn't seen her in like 4 months. She came to meet me for dinner. And so we had excellent South African wine and seafood, and life was good. Marble was like on an upper floor, so you could have like really beautiful views. If the sun is going down, I don't know if you can actually see sunset from there because sunset's over the water. But you can see like beautiful mountain views. Like Cape Town's just such like a really just beautiful place. Like I've been some places that are really beautiful and it's just like, okay. Like after like the first couple of weeks or the first couple of times you've been, it's just like like you're not as fascinated with the beauty anymore. But like literally like every time I go outside, like I think like, my God, this place is beautiful. Day 1, my like first actual day here, I went and got my lashes done because I didn't get a chance to get them done before I left. And my favorite lash girl, like worldwide, is here in Cape Town. And then I went to the spa. I told you about my favorite spa treatment where like the lady beats me with a stick. They've added a new stick to the spa treatment. There's like a little stick now where they like knead you like the dough and then they beat you with the bigger stick. They used to knead you with like the big stick, but now they knead you with the little stick. And the little stick is cold. I don't know how they got it cold because it was just sitting out. But when she put it on me, it was cold. But then like the big stick that she beat me with was warm. I really cannot believe I pay someone good money at that to like beat me. But I do, and I like it. I may need to see somebody about this. And then I got my nails done, or at least my toes. They were just looking a little raggedy. Like my big toe had chipped. You know, things happen in life. There's something about a chipped big toe just to me says that, you know, like you're really failing at life. So I went and got my feet fixed. And then I should have got my nails done. This is going to sound so stupid. Last time I got my nails done, I saw this like stained glass design on Instagram. And I went to my nail guy in Bowie and was like, can you do this? And he was like, I can do anything. He's arrogant, but he's so good. He did this really amazing job. But it took him 3 hours to do my nails. And I was like, I will never, not never. I really love the design. I think it's very beautiful. I will never sit that long to get my nails done again. So I need a fill. It was like 2 weeks when I was leaving. I was like, I refuse to get my nails done until it's a full 3 weeks. I need a week for each hour that I spent getting my nails done. So I refused to get my nails done when I was at the shop the other day. I made an appointment for later this week. So it will be exactly 3 weeks that I've had these nails that are so beautiful, but also took 3 hours to do. And I'm going to get a nice little intricate design. There's a girl here that does amazing nails. They've got this chain of nail shops called, is it BOA or is it BOA? It's in all caps. I call it BOA. I hope that's what it is. But there's a girl at this shop who does a really beautiful job, both in design and shaping nails. That's what I've done so far. And I did my taxes. I stayed up last night until like 5 o'clock in the morning and then realized that like I don't have all the documentation because I brought a bunch of stuff with me, but I didn't have everything I needed. And I was like, oh, fuck this, and just filed for an extension. I went ahead and paid what I owe or what I think I owe. I did a guesstimate and added some because I was like, don't come for me. Don't try to charge me interest. I don't play with the IRS. But I just went ahead and paid and was like, I'll deal with this sometime between now and October. Like I can't. I don't have the bandwidth and I'm jet lagged. So I finally went to sleep and I had a bunch of stuff to do today, including this podcast. And I didn't wake up until 1:35. So today has been not bad. I've literally done nothing but attempt to adjust to a time zone. I have nothing to complain about. I'm very happy to be in Cape Town. One of my friends is coming in tomorrow. So hopefully I get a chance to gallivant with her for a few days. I'm super excited about that. And then the trip. The Season World trip is the first Season World Cape Town. Starts next week. I think we have 20, 23 ladies who are coming in. Davita keeps track of all the logistics. We have a great group of ladies coming in, some who've been on previous Season World trips. So I'm happy that they're, trusting us again in a new location. I think we have 3 or 4 alumni on this trip. And then some new ladies that we'll get to know. This trip is actually 10 days, and we probably could have made it shorter, but then we would have had people like running around back to back. But I don't like to go on vacation and then get home, especially when it's this long ass flight. But to get home and feel like I didn't get a chance to relax, I didn't get a chance to enjoy myself, like I was just always ripping and running. It's one thing when you go on vacation to New York. Even if we were going to Johannesburg, I'd be like, well, it's a city. Like, what do you expect? But like, it's Cape Town. Like, you should have a sense of relaxation. So we tried not to do too much every day and give an opportunity for people to explore and have leisure. If we go somewhere, we're not like, rushing to get to the next place. When we go out to the wine farms, like we get to just like enjoy them and like drink the wine and enjoy the views and eat the food and, take the pictures and all of those things. I'm like super, super excited for this. I said this on socials. I'm going to tell you as well. There is more than likely going to be an announcement coming relatively soon about another trip to Cape Town, thereabouts in November-ish. When I was here last time, right before I left, there was an MCC festival. MCC is South Africa's version of champagne. Bubbles. When you hear me talk about bubbles, MCC. But they have an MCC fest. It's like you go and there's tents. On the perimeter, it's probably like 20 to 30 minimum tents, let's say 30, with all these different brands of MCC. You tear off a little ticket like you're at a fair and you give them the ticket and then they give you like, they pour you a whole glass of MCC. And you can literally go, you'll die, but you could literally go from tent to tent to tent to tent for the entire day and just drink MCC. And if you run out of tickets, then maybe they'll be like, oh, okay, it's like 60 Rand a glass, maybe 100. 100 is like $5 to us. It's a 2-day festival, and we're trying to plan the trip around this festival and also Thanksgiving. We're playing with dates. We'll see what we can do. If I were you and I was interested in going on a Season World Cape Town trip, you know how these trips sell out. Like the last one was 4 minutes? 4 minutes and 30 seconds. I want to be honest about the time. I won't announce it before the end of the next trip. So you have until the beginning of April. But somewhere around that time, I would turn my notifications on for the announcement of the trip. That's what I would do if I was interested in going on the trip. Okay? Is that all of our housekeeping? Still working on the King thing. People are still reading the book. It's 600 pages. I thought 6 weeks was enough. And people were like, you don't have kids or a 9 to 5, ma'am. And I was like, well, point, I received. Point taken. Still working on the King thing. It's happening. And then after we do the King thing, I'll announce the next book club pick. Okay? This is new for me. Having some growing pains. We'll figure out. Lots of news this week. I got a heads up that the galley is on its way. Okay. The Best Man. Did you see this? There's a book coming out. It comes out in July. Ooh. It's called The Best Man, Unfinished Business. It is written by Malcolm D. Lee, who's created The Best Man. It's also co-written with Janae Allen. That's the name of Harper's book that caused all the trouble in The First Best Man, yeah? This is a great idea, and I'm glad that it's here. This book should have dropped back when The First Best Man came out, and they could have a full freaking series. They could have Babysitters Club this whole thing up until now. I'm thankful that it is here. Better late than never. I'm happy to read this book, but I just got the email that the galley is on its way to my house. I'm back in early May, so I should be able to read it sooner than later. But I've been like standing for this book ever since I heard it was coming out, which is literally only a week ago. What is this book about? It says it picks up where the best man, the final chapters left off. The final chapters, that was the series. I love the series. One of my friends is a writer on the series. Nicole, she wrote that whole storyline about old girl going to Ghana and taking the baby. She wrote that. And I was like, ma'am, you started like a war with that storyline. Like people argued about that for weeks online. And she was like, she had no clue it would be that controversial. She was like, I moved to Ghana. And I was like, I mean, yeah, but you ain't like take the baby. Like you had the baby in Ghana. Like a whole separate story. Okay. We're expanding the Best Man franchise. We're picking up where we left off, offering readers a deep dive into the next chapter of Harper, Jordan, Robin. So basically, you're telling me that Harper and Jordan are going to get together because we've been waiting on this for literally over 20 years. The Best Man came out, was it fall 99? And the only reason I know this is because I studied abroad in fall 99. And Morris Chestnut was in Boys in the Hood. And then there was like this short-lived TV show. I want to say it was him, might have been Vivica and Patti LaBelle, if I'm remembering that correctly. Out All Night might have been the name of the show. I need to fact check that. But nobody was really sweating Morris Chestnut like that. And then when I came back, everyone was like, oh, Morris Chestnut, Morris Chestnut, Morris Chestnut. And I was like, who is Morris Chestnut? And they were like, Ricky from Boys in the Hood. And I was like, ew. I mean, he wasn't offensive in the face, but he also wasn't, as we currently know him, MF Morris Chestnut. And they were like, oh, you got to see The Best Man. You'll understand. And I was like, what is The Best Man? I had to wait for the thing to come out. I think we had DVDs by then. So I finally watched it and I was like, nyam, 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 nyam. And then, Lance Armstrong walked into the club and he had that big wide body and that little tiny cross. And I was like, oh, I'm a believer. I have loved Morris Chestnut deep in my heart ever since that moment. I have been loving that man for like 25 years of my life with no plans to stop anytime soon. Miss Pam can come punch me in the face. And I probably deserve it. But Morris Chestnut, like, that's a man. That's a man. Whew. That's not the point. None of this is the point. The point is, it's a book about Harper, Jordan, and Robin navigating co-parenting, rediscovering personal passions, to redefining love and purpose in midlife. That sounds like a good beach read. Maybe this could be our book club pick. I had another one in mind, but I'm not mad. I mean, it's summer. Maybe it's just a book we read. Let me know what you think about it. I'm not opposed. I'm open to it. Y'all got to read it. Y'all should get a say in it. Still reading on Essence. It says this upcoming novel marks the first in a new trilogy. So there's more to come. 2 more standalone titles that are scheduled for next year. I'm really also looking forward to Sinners with Michael B. Jordan. It's getting amazing reviews right now. I know a couple people who've seen it and have been raving about it. I've tried not to read too much. I want to see it on opening day. You know how I feel about Michael B. Jordan. And he's playing twins. So it's like 2 Michael B. Jordans instead of 1. There's like a good one and an evil one. And I was like, either one, both. I'm fine. Thanks. You know how I feel about Michael B. Jordan. Not quite the way I feel about Morris Chestnut, but close. But I really do want to see Sinners. I really don't know that much of what the film is about other than what's in the trailer. I've been actively trying not to know because I want to go into the film sight unseen. I read that this is the first film from Ryan Coogler that's not based on IP that's already out there. So even like Fruitville Station was based on somebody's life. All the Black Panther series is based on Marvel. He had something else. Oh, Creed was based on the Rocky series. But this is his first like original concept. So I want to see like what's going on in his head. He a real like, he real black. Blackity black, black, black. And in case you were unsure of his blackness, there is video that's circulating online where he's describing different types of ways to shoot a film, different like literally film. Like this is one size film and it does this. This is another size film and it does this. This is one camera and it does this. Apparently the film is coming out in multiple formats and he's explaining the difference that you'll see based on the format. Fascinating nerd shit, which I absolutely love. But one of the things that people have been saying after listening to this video, they were like, oh, he doesn't code switch like at all. Like he's like, you know how we talk. He'd be like, he's a nigga. Like, I don't want to call him a nigga because he didn't do no nigga-ish. He just a black man. I make a distinction on the episode when I drop an N-bomb, because I do it for, white people, black people alike. Anybody can be called that as far as I'm concerned. I don't feel like Ryan Coogler deserves the N-word, even with the soft A. He's just black and he does excellently black shit. I don't want to call him a nigga unless he do some nigga shit. Don't do no nigga shit, Ryan. You do exactly what you've been doing. Do the work. We only see him when he got something to promote. Otherwise, we don't see him. He off doing some work. This works well for you. This is working well. Let it work. But I would definitely have a review of Sinners, God willing, if I'm able to see it next episode. I guess we just launched into good black news unintentionally. Toni Braxton and Birdman are married. Apparently, they've been married since December, and somebody just went searching through some court documents last week and was like, hey, they're married. And also, apparently, there's some inconsistency here. Apparently, they got married, and then either 2 days or 2 weeks later, I've seen it reported both ways, Toni Braxton filed for a divorce, but then they were able to work things out, and she withdrew that document and Birdman signed it. So now they just sitting around married. I have no thoughts on that. Not good, nor bad, nor... They've been together for a minute, like years. Like I would say at least 5. They like each other. They like being around each other, else they wouldn't be around each other. They've been, sometimes they together, sometimes they just friends. These are grown people. I had to look up Toni Braxton's age. Toni Braxton is 58 human years old. She know what she want to do. She grown as hell. 57, excuse me. She turns 58 in October. 57 human years old. Looking amazing. She know what she want to do with her life. She knows if she want to be with this man or not be with this man. Let me see how old Birdman is. Somehow I feel like he's younger. He is 56. These are two very grown people who were born in the 1960s. I ain't fixing to tell them what to be doing with their lives. Also, they didn't tell me about their marriage, which they had no business to do because it's not my business. But they didn't tell me about the marriage, so I don't feel like I have a right to be asking any questions about it because they didn't ones who told me. I hope they're happy. I hope their finances are in order. You got to say that. Because didn't Toni file for bankruptcy twice, buying them Versace plates and stuff? Yeah, okay. I can't even say they look happy because they ain't been posting no pictures together because they ain't telling nobody they was married. I want to make sure I got those dates right that I told you about. I'm sorry, let me correct my dates. I'm reading this on people.com. They've secretly been married for 8 months. They got married in August, not December. And then 2 weeks later, this is where the confusion was coming in. 2 weeks later, after August 8th, Braxton filed for divorce and she listed their date of separation as August 10th, which was 2 days after the wedding. Or at least when the marriage license was signed. The wedding don't mean you married. Signing the marriage license and then sending it into the office, that's what makes you married. I'm reading further down on people. It says the couple started dating in 2016. It says Braxton found a strong support system with the hip-hop artist amid her battle with lupus. Who knew Birdman, of all people, would be a supportive presence in somebody's life? Birdman. Toni also told people, this is 2018, she said she never expected her friendship with her bestie of 15 or 16 years. Toni Braxton and Birdman, you would look at them and you would think these two people have nothing in common. Apparently, they have lots in common. Besties for 15 to 16 years. That was in 2018. We're 7 years past that now, and they're still going. I don't know if it's strong. Well, I mean, you know what? They both did sign the end of the separation document to say that the separation is off the table and that they're moving forward. Apparently, whatever they're doing is working. They together. It's doing something. Oh, People does note that there was some back and forth between them. They were engaged in 2018, and then the wedding by 2019 had been called off, and they erased each other from Instagram. This is a year later. It says the pair sparked reconciliation rumors when they united on stage at Braxton's tour stop in Atlanta. It said December 31st, 2023, Braxton slammed marriage rumors and claimed they were both single. A fan had speculated that they were married in a private ceremony, and Braxton responded, "Fake news." She says, "My dear friend at Birdman and I are not married, never been married. We are both single." And now they asses is married. All right. All right. All right. Well, congratulations to them. If they like it, I love it. I ain't got no thoughts and commentary on it. I want the best for everyone. Good for them. Grown ass people. They might stay married forever. Keeping folks out your business will keep you together longer. Like Kerry Washington and her husband, forever. Issa and her husband, forever. Although Quinta didn't really tell us much about her husband. The white man, they're getting a divorce. I'm just telling you because it's in the news. I don't have no commentary on that either. Although I did see some interview that Quinta did, and she was like, "Oh, she don't really know white people like that." She was like, "I just know like fellow white comedians, but I don't really know white people." And people are like, ma'am, you were married to a white man. You know white people. She ain't claiming him no more. Let that lady not claim her estranged husband. She don't want to claim him no more. Let her rewrite her history in the image that she sees fit. Viola Davis, she has the movie on Amazon, G20. Did you watch it? I stayed up the night it was supposed to come out because I thought it was coming on at midnight. I stayed up refreshing my Amazon until finally they put up a post. I guess most people did, but they put up a little something that was like released today at 3 a.m. This was East Coast time. And I was like, absolutely not, and went to bed. So I watched it in parts the next morning. I just had stuff to do. I was trying to pack to come to South Africa, which the movie is set in. It was solid. I had read a headline from an interview Viola Davis did, and she was saying something like every movie she does doesn't need to be an Oscar-worthy performance. And so I had reset my expectations just based on that quote. It's enjoyable. It's a Black woman in her late 50s kicking white ass in a red dress all over South Africa. It was good. I like movies in general about attacks on American presidents. That's not shade for the current leader. Like one of my favorite movies that I used to put on like before I went to bed was London Has Fallen. Like I love that film. I like a good, I've talked about this before. I like a good like shoot 'em up, kick ass, guns, shit blowing up, rockets. Not in that Tyler Perry Beauty in Black, because that was just weird. Like, where did the machine guns come from? What? But no, like in this case, it completely makes sense. Like Viola Davis is playing the first Black woman who's an American president. I was reading reviews of it and people kept pointing out how like sad it was that that could have been our reality. And then we have our current reality. But no, she's the first Black president. She's going to the G20 summit. It's being hosted in South Africa. A diehard level villain tries to bomb the summit because they're mad about, I don't know, politics. Viola Davis fights back and saves the world. Like it's a classic action flick. The plot is a little light. I don't particularly watch action movies for like an engaged plot. Like I just want to see shit blow up and I want to see people like fight and get shot. And it gave me exactly that. I thought it was joyful. The reviews kind of went in. And a lot of the complaint with the reviews, I mean, yes, like flimsy plot. It's more about the context of the film. Obviously, it was shot before the November elections, but many reviews that I read pointed out that Viola Davis is playing a Black woman who's elected as president of the United States. And now we understand how far fetched that idea is. She's playing a U.S. president who is a respected world leader. She's cautioned about how to be diplomatic with other world leaders because, you know, you can't just go in ham fisted, if you will, to get your way. Be decent and social and make it make sense in order to be an effective leader. And she's a leader with a heart. She wants the best I think she's trying to like cure poverty worldwide, or she wants the best for her people, wants the best for people, all people, brown people worldwide, as opposed to, you know, terrorizing the entire world. It's a good movie. It's not something you have to like rush out and see. Although many, many, many people have watched it because it's number one worldwide on Amazon. Which congratulations. Viola Davis is a producer on the film. She and her husband, Julius, is that his name? I only know his name because Viola Davis be talking about him. Not too much though. She don't tell us too much about Julius, but she tells us just enough that I know his name. But they are producers on the film, which means they should have made a whole bunch of money between like, her paycheck for acting and her paycheck for producing. Yeah, she should be good. Congratulations to Viola Davis and her husband on a successful film. That makes me happy. I love that she waited till she was like in her 50s. I don't necessarily know if she waited, but the roles started coming for her to be like a full blown action figure, action heroine. I was going to say hero, heroine in her late 50s at that. She was good. And now that's an action movie that should have got an Oscar. Woman King, that was a good ass movie with fine ass John Boyega. Lord, that man thick. Mm. Oh, speaking of people who tell their business, I have Michelle Obama on my list twice. Michelle Obama and her brother, we talked about this when it first was released. They have a podcast together. I have actually not had a chance to listen to the podcast. I just saw this snippet and I don't think I'm losing context. But her brother, they were talking about dating and the frustrations that people are having these days. I think the conversation was veering toward people who are being unrealistic. And her brother, which she acknowledged was an alley oop, her brother asked her a question about women dating men for their potential, if you will. The actual question was someone who wasn't financially stable. He might have actually said, is it okay to date someone who's financially unstable? And Michelle Obama very proudly was just like, yeah, I did. She did. The reason I'm bringing this up is she went on to speak about how she married Barack Obama. And then she went to speak about, people dating now aren't looking at, I'm paraphrasing, character and intrinsic values. Like they're looking at superficial things like dating somebody who doesn't make a lot of money. Every time this conversation comes up, because it's come up like ever since the Obamas entered the national stage and told their love story, people like to harp on the fact that like, okay, like she was an established lawyer and Barack Obama asked her out on a date and he took her on a cheap date. It was like ice cream and movies. And she talks about how there was like a hole in the bottom of the car and he was, a summer intern and she was established. She had already graduated from law school and was working at this firm making all this money. And he was, lowly intern who was broke with a hole in his car, but she gave him a chance. If that's all true, people always use their example as like a reason that like women should date men who essentially don't have their shit together. And I'm like, what about Barack Obama in this scenario? Like he didn't have money because he was a student, because he was studying law at Harvard. He was a summer intern at one of the best law firms in Chicago. He was always going to be somebody. He was never going to be eternally broke unless he wanted to be. So when you talk about like, oh, like date someone and, like see the best in them and think of like their potential, not just where they are. When people say that, it's never a conversation about someone who is pursuing their law degree at Harvard. It's always about someone who's like an aspiring rapper at 35. What did Tyler Perry tell women to do? Like, okay, it's like, so what if he doesn't have his shit together? Like, maybe he could pay the light bill. Like a grown ass woman with her shit together is expected to date someone who can only afford to pay the light bill because love is more important. Is food important? Is housing important? Is lifestyle important? Is not paying for a man because like you got your shit together and all he can afford is the light bill, so you're gonna be paying like everything else for a man? I mean, some people do it and they're very happy. Would you be happy doing it? And I hate that the Barack Obama is always the example of like, see the potential in a man. If we are having a conversation about a man who is, pursuing his Ivy League law degree, I wouldn't even say Ivy League. If he is currently enrolled in a law program in any school in the country that is not DeVry, I am willing to hear you out on, you know what, look at the man's potential. Like he's in law school. He gonna figure something out. And not that all lawyers have money. So there is potential there for funds to come. There's clearly a sense of ambition because, like, he done went all the way through college and is now pursuing another 3 years of academia with the expectation that he will also study for the LSAT. Like, this takes time. This takes dedication. This takes a degree of, I want to do better. I think I can do better. I'm going to try to do better. That makes sense to me. People make women feel really bad for wanting anything beyond like the basics. Like, you should be happy, like, renting a 1-bedroom apartment on the bad side of town and just be happy that you got a car. Like, it might have 100,000 miles on it, but at least it runs. Buy your clothes from, nothing's wrong with Shein and Temu or any of those types of places, but like, you shouldn't aspire for anything more than that. And all you should want is a man who's just like a step above that. It's really bad messaging we give to women that way. I say all this to say it really bothered me. I love Michelle Obama. I love Michelle Obama. I would fight a bear for Michelle Obama. I love Michelle Obama. It bothered me that Michelle Obama was sort of playing into this narrative of like this whole potential thing as if her choice of a husband and his potential that he was demonstrating like out the gate the day that he met her is the same as what most women are being encouraged to see the potential in. Nobody's talking to us about Harvard lawyers. People are talking to us about like, he's a man, he's breathing. That's it. It don't matter. He's an old man, a young man, a broke man, a man with many illnesses, a man with many baby mamas, a man with a wife. It's just like, oh, is he breathing? Is he a man? It don't even matter if his dick work. Is he a man? Then you should be open to dating him. No matter what you've achieved in your life, no matter what you have going on, your money, your degrees, your dreams, your ambitions, the life that you want, the life that you envision, the life that you're working toward, none of it. It's just, is he alive? Is he a man? Oh, okay. Well, you're single. You don't have a man. So like, you should consider this man. I don't like that she played into that. She could have dodged it. And this conversation has come up enough times and there's been enough like back and forth over it that she knows what it is at this point. I just wish she had gave context to like, yes, I married a man who, financially wasn't all together, but he also was, in law school at Harvard. I saw people arguing online. They were like, well, finances weren't a big deal to her because she was already making money. Finances are even bigger deal when you're already making money. Stop this nonsense. Stop it. Stop it now. Michelle has also clarified, because there was much talk about this, which I never believed. I never believed it for 1 minute, that she and her husband were not getting a divorce. Remember, she didn't show up to inauguration and people were like, oh, what's going on with Michelle and Barack? She didn't go to inauguration and she didn't go to Jimmy Carter's funeral because she would have ended up sitting next to the current leader, the Fuhrer. She opted out of those two events, which were very close together. And there was speculation that something's going wrong in the Obama marriage because where is Michelle? Why isn't Michelle here? So she did clarify that she ain't divorcing Barack. They good. Where am I reading this? New York Times. The headline, Michelle Obama addresses divorce rumors and public absences. It says the former First Lady, forever FLOTUS, said on a podcast, people, quote, couldn't even fathom that I was making a choice for myself, that they had to assume that my husband and I were divorcing. Even if they were miserable, they would never get divorced. It's too much. There's too much invested in them. There's too much money tied up in them. She went on the Work in Progress podcast hosted by Sophia Bush. She said, I chose to do what's best for me, not what I had to do. And she continued, this couldn't be a grown woman just making a set of decisions for herself, right? But that's what society does to us. The New York Times editorializes, it says, Mrs. Obama did not waste many words on the rumors, nor did she go into detail. Instead, she emphasized the importance of making her own decisions, especially now that she no longer occupies the White House and her 2 daughters are adults. She says, quote, I learned that I can really only control me. Well, that part I definitely agree with Mrs. Obama. Oh, Forever POTUS was also in the news, not in the greatest way. Apparently, Barack Obama, I don't know how true this is. Let me pull up the article because I just saw the headline and I was like, say it ain't so, Barry. Say it ain't so. It's the New York Post, which I hate to read them about politics, but they do have good reporting and it's based on a book. There's only so much you could say. Jonathan Allen, he's the co author of Fight Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House. And he says in this new book, former President Barack Obama reportedly advocated against Democrats nominating Vice President Kamala Harris in the wake of President Joe Biden dropping out of the 2024 presidential election because he didn't think Kamala Harris could win, which at the time sounds like some hating, but in retrospect was like, well, yeah, you saw something we didn't see or I didn't see. I didn't get my hopes up, but I really, really wanted her to win, and I thought she could. I sent money. I really thought she could. According to the book, President Obama absolutely did not think that Joe Biden should continue, according to our sources close to President Obama. And he also didn't want Kamala Harris to be the replacement. He didn't think she was the best choice. And he worked behind the scenes for a long time to try to have a mini primary or an open convention or a mini primary leading to an open convention. He did not have faith in her ability to win the election. That's what the author says. He continues, he was really working against her. He says on a phone call with the vice president on the very day that Biden passed the baton to Harris, Obama went as far as to refuse to endorse her candidacy as the nominee. And apparently all the other Democratic power players knew. This came up a little bit. I don't know if this is like an insider DC thing, but people had noticed that Barack Obama had not, like, this is early on because eventually he went out and he did campaign for her. But people had noticed early on that, like, all these people were, like, basically bending the knee and be like, okay, like Kamala Harris, like Biden's out, Biden says Kamala, then we're all rallying behind Kamala. Like, it was a very immediate, quick switch where everyone just sort of fell in line. But it did take Barack Obama a while. I do remember that at the time. But not only was he not trying to endorse her, he was calling people behind the scenes. According to this book, it says Barack Obama had a phone call with Congressman James Clyburn from South Carolina on the day that Joe Biden handed off the baton to Kamala Harris, the same day he announced. Obama set up a call with Clyburn for like 5:30 that afternoon, and Clyburn thought to himself, this guy is going to try to rope me into the open convention thing. I better get my endorsement of Harris out there fast so that this is a short conversation. So apparently maybe that's one of the reasons people were like falling in line so quickly is to avoid having to tell Barack Obama no. Like, I already did it. I already said something. I can't unsay something. So it is what it is at this point. Oh, dear. It says both the former president and former first lady eventually did lend their support to Harris, but not until 5 days after Biden announced he was no longer running. And at the time they said it, they said, we think she'll make a fantastic president. She has our full support, which is the right thing to publicly say. Again, at the time, seems like hating. In retrospect, maybe we should have listened. I have on here LeBron James has a Ken doll. Is that a big deal? That's interesting, is it? I saw the doll. I thought it was a cute doll. If I was a little girl or I had a little girl, I have like a little god niece, but she don't really play with dollies like that. It's just not her thing, Lennox. I never seen a little girl with a doll. She plays. She likes bubbles for sure. Little girl, wear me out with some damn bubbles. All right, I'm pulling up this LeBron doll. He's a Ken ambassador. That's what they're referring to him as. This is hilarious. It's a cute doll. It's fashionable. It's got on some dunks, some blue and white dunks. I think those are dunks. Some plaid pants, a Letterman's jacket. It has a hat. It's not so much a crossbody. I have one of these. What is it called? It's kind of like a fanny pack, but he's wearing it like across his upper portion as opposed to around his waist. It's got some headphones. It actually looks like him. Did they put gray in the doll's beard? Or is that like, that like afro hair? Like trying to make it look kinky, so it's like textured. That like hard Barbie hair that they put on men? Like 80s Ken? I think that's hard hair. I don't think it's gray. He looks nice. He got a big ass gold watch. It's very LeBron. It looks very like LeBron walking through the tunnel with his headphones on. It's a cute doll. I can't see what his shirt says. We are family. That's cute. I like the doll. I swear those are dunks. Oh, he has sunglasses too. It's a cute doll. If I was like a kid, my Barbie could date him. Like my favorite Barbie would date him. She would be a basketball wife, which I guess would make my Barbie Savannah. I'm not mad at that. My dolls could be like Savannah and LeBron. I'm okay with that. They're respectable people, seemingly. I only say seemingly. I don't know nothing about them. I'm just saying, people have public personas and then, people have who they are in private. I don't know if they match. I don't know them like that. I don't know them at all. I'm just saying. Oh, Pop the Balloon. I have this on my list. Pop the Balloon on Netflix. Did y'all see it? Ungood. I said that on Threads that it was ungood. And many people responded. They were like, it was ungood on YouTube. Like, where are you going with this? Okay. I got my hair done the other day. The girl who does my hair, woman, she's 29. She's definitely niece age. Anybody under 30 is niece to me. She's doing my hair. We're talking about something, and I asked her how old she was. And she was like, oh, I'm 29. She tells me that she's having a birthday party coming up. And I was like, oh, you should. That's amazing or whatever. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to have like a 2000s theme. And I was like, I'm sorry, excuse me? And she was like, yeah, like the 2000s. She was like, 2000 to like 2010 is like, like the best time in like music and fashion, hair, beauty. Like, I just love everything about that era. And I'm just like, my youth is now an era. In fact, it is. So she's going to have like a throwback party and she's going to do things at this party like they did, quote, back in the day. And I was like, is my youth back in the day? Apparently it is. She says that they're going to have this party, but she's not going to let people have cell phones out. She said back in the day, they didn't have cell phones. And so when people went out to the club, they actually like danced and talked and like got to know one another. And I was like, hey, we had cell phones. And she was like, yeah, but like they didn't have like cameras or video. And I was like, I mean, that is a point that is accurate, but it wasn't back in the day. It was, it was just not now. It's different than now, but it wasn't like back in the day. And she was like, 2000 was like 25 years ago. I my feelings were hurt. So I stopped talking. I sat there and basically pouted. None of this is the point. The point is it took her 7 hours to do my hair. We really got along. She has a really great disposition and personality. Like, I really enjoyed talking to her. I should have asked her how to use Chat GPT to make one of these little action figures. Have you seen people make these action figures on their timeline? Like, it makes you look like you're like in a Barbie box or something. And some people have it on video, like the doll gets out of the box. It's very Teyana Taylor, Sweet 16, circa like somewhere between 2000 and 2010. Jesus Christ, I'm old. Okay, that's not the point either. The point is, she was like asking me about Drewski. And she was like, oh, do you watch Drewski? And I was like, who? And she said, Drewski. He's like a comedian. I vaguely know who he is. I want to say he had like a beef with Birdman or something. He does this show where he pretends to be a record label producer. And it's a kind of mix between like an American Idol host and a bit of obnoxiousness from Diddy making the band, but also could be real hood. And apparently Birdman thought Drewski was making fun of him. So he wanted to step two and put bass in his voice and was basically like, stop this shit. This not a game, nigga. And Drewski was like, yeah, it is. It's fucking hilarious. And like refused to like break character. So she was like, oh, no, it's really funny. So she was like, let's watch Drewski. So we watched Drewski in Jamaica. He is not Jamaican to my knowledge. Drewski went down to Jamaica and hosted this audition show, and people from Kingston came and auditioned, and all of them were really, really bad. And then Drewski kept speaking in like a really bad Jamaican accent. It was diabolically bad. But also, I couldn't stop watching. You know how like little kids be watching Miss Rachel? It was like that. I was completely locked in and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? But it was like you just couldn't look away. That Tyler Perry series, it's the second time I brought that up. The one with like the really rich black people, but also like the stripper and then like the patriarch with the machine gun. It was like that. Like you start watching, you can't stop because you're just like, what the fuck is this? It's like you're living inside the funhouse mirrors in somebody's head and you're trying to get out. You just get stuck. It like sucks you in. It's bizarre. Still not the point. She had me watch this interview. Funny Marco, I knew who he was. I don't know how I knew who he was, but I knew he does interviews and he has this very dry disposition and asks people these insane questions, and everyone doesn't understand his bit, really. It was Funny Marco and Chris Brown, and Chris Brown seemed like the sane person between them. Fascinated, couldn't look away. Then we started watching Pop the Balloon. I had watched Pop the Balloon on Netflix the day before. It came out on Thursday. I got my hair done on Friday. When I reviewed it online, I said, I'm glad Arlette is getting her monies. She is involved in the Netflix version of the show. They paid her for her IP, her intellectual property, so she is getting a check off the show. And then also Yvonne Orji, i.e. Molly from Insecure. She's now hosting the show in Arlette's stead, which I was like, I'm happy she's getting a check. I like Yvonne Orji. But also I was like, why? Like, why are you hosting this? Like, this is... I said in my head at the time that I was watching, I was like, this is beneath you. Like, why are you here? Because the show is just that fucking bad. But then also, the economy being what it is, it's honest work and it pays the bills. I don't know this lady's finances. I don't know her aspirations in life. Maybe I want something different from her than what she wants for herself. Or maybe just simply the rent is due. Maybe she didn't know it was going to be as bad as it is. It's awful. It's awful. For people who complain about the show on YouTube, it works for many reasons. And I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days, thinking about why the YouTube show works and why the Netflix one was so bad. Netflix whitewashed the show. So Pop the Balloon and all the reiterations of it that have been floating around the internet. Arlette is black. Her husband is black. All the contestants that I've seen, at least on the show, have been black, biracial maybe, but like the majority of the people are just regular black folks. I don't even know where the show is shot. I don't know where she be getting these black folks from that are around the country. I thought it was in LA, but it's not LA. I think it could be Vegas. Still not sure. But it's regular black people that you don't always see on TV. Start talking to people on the show and, you know, I'm a nurse, I'm a plumber, I work for Amazon. Every once in a while, you'll get a doctor or a dentist or something like that. And even though I've seen people complain that the show is a bad representation of black folks, because sometimes people can be really nasty to each other, like, well, why don't you like this person? And they'll just say really mean things about why they're not attracted to someone. One of the things that I like about the show is just the sheer blackness of it. The Netflix version of it, the host, Yvonne, is black. There was a black girl from Baltimore who was playing into some sort of like sassy black girl stereotype. If you watch the women's version of Number One on the call sheet, it was very much the archetype that the A-list actresses described that they had to do early on in their careers. All the other women were some people of color. There was an Asian girl, white girl, ambiguous biracial. They just took all the black out of it. But it just seemed like everybody on the Netflix one was there because they were cast. And that's not to say Arlette doesn't do casting. Every show does to some degree. But it was like, it was overcasting. It was like too heavily produced. And it didn't seem like anybody was there like actually looking for any kind of connection. Not even to go on a date. Like everyone was just there to like be entertaining. It just didn't work. Like all of the elements that made Pop the Balloon, even if you don't like it, but made it watchable, that made it like just a bit intriguing, They just removed like all the good stuff. And I was like, y'all really could have taken the show because it was working. It got on your radar because it was working as is. You really could have taken the show with Arlette. For whatever reason, they didn't like her as a host for like this for the main stage, but y'all really could have just taken that whole thing and maybe spruced up the set just a little bit. Part of the joy of it is the rawness of the set. But spruced up the set maybe a little bit and put the whole thing right on Netflix, and it would have done much better. I've said this for years. I don't say it as much as I used to because I'm a little far removed from the situation. But like, it is nearly always a bad idea with Black folks to give non-Black folks, particularly white folks, to give them control of your narrative, to give them control of your IP. So many of them just don't get it. And this Netflix version of Pop the Balloon is just like a prime example. Like, it's giving very Four Horsemen. And there was no need for that because like the Five Heartbeats version already existed. I was like, so I hope Arlette and husband, I hope they got their checks. I saw Arlette put up a post the other day. She's absolutely heard the feedback. I haven't seen anybody who likes this version of the show on Netflix. Like, everybody's been dragging it. But she and husband put up a post the other day. It says, "We truly appreciate your passion for the show. We remain committed to protecting what makes Pop the Balloon so special: the heart, the authenticity, and the journey to find real love. Thanks for the support." So a very classy way of basically saying, we heard you. We got our own issues with it too. And so we'll just keep doing what we do on YouTube. I do appreciate that it seems that they negotiated to keep the show going on their own platform, that they didn't have to stop doing it on YouTube in order for Netflix to take it. I also hope that, Netflix has heard and seen the feedback. I don't know what the numbers were for the show, but they're able to quickly course correct and get the show back on track. Because it's not the most highbrowest of ideas. And I know people have a lot of complaints about the show, but it's entertaining as fuck. Like, I sit there and be like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like you throwing a man away because you don't like his pants. Did you see his face, though? Did you see the dimples in those cheekbones? Like, that's a good man, Savannah. You know what? People say that's a good man, Savannah, all the time. Because Whitney Houston's mama from Waiting to Exhale, she was saying that about that man who was married, the Allstate man. Saying like, oh, he's a good man, Savannah, doesn't actually mean he's a good man, Savannah. It means your mama is delusional. We kind of mixed that whole quote up. I'm just saying. Oh, the other part of the show. I like Arlette and her Fashion Nova dresses. Fashion Nova, like all the models are like the BBL girls. So you never really know what the clothes are going to actually look like on you when you don't have a BBL and you haven't been photoshopped. And she's a good looking woman. She has a fine shape, but she don't have like a BBL shape. And so you actually be like, oh, that's a cute dress. There's so much that works for the current version of the show. I would have loved to see it co-opted for, this is going to sound crazy. Stay with me. If you're up, actually, no, because y'all are like my age, so y'all might remember this. Do you remember back in maybe like 2007? Actually, it was 2007 because that's when I started. Essence had this dating show. There were 5 or 6 women, and then there were options of men who the women could date. And the viewers would vote on which man that the woman should go on a date. It was like using these women as a human avatar. I loved that show. It's when I really, really, really was like, oh my God, I really want to work for Essence, was because of that show. I didn't want to be an editor for Essence. I wanted to work on that show for Essence. I would have loved to see Pop the Balloon on the Essence platform. So keep it Black, give it a little extra budget, not too much, but keep the authenticity of it and the Blackness of it. Like, that would have been a good acquisition. And then everybody would start tuning into Essence again. I could also right now go on a whole rant about like legacy Black media, and this is their time to shine with Trump doing these attacks on mainstream media and Black folk being so disillusioned with mainstream media and Democrats and all of that. The Black publications and also the Black church. If you could get your shit together, this is your time to shine. I see Ebony. I see them trying. I see them inching about it. I saw Sterling K. Brown was on the cover, the most recent cover. One of the good homies is over there. She didn't tell me I could announce it yet, so I can't say. But like, I see potential. Same thing with Essence. Michelle Gee is over there. I see possibility. Put me in a game, coach. I'm back in the state. Well, I'm not back in the States now, but like, I'll be back in May. I'll be stationed in America for a bot. Other than to see some world trips, I'm not doing any long-term gallivanting, by which I mean I won't be gone for like, more than like 6 weeks. Put me in the game, coach. Let the Ferrari out of the garage. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Oh, speaking of magazine covers, Vogue, this has got to be historic. The Met Gala is coming up. And the theme this year is dandyism. We've talked about this before, how I'm like deathly afraid one of these like white boys is going to show up in blackface. It's essentially well-dressed black men, that black style, that blackness. So put your shit on, essentially, in historical context. White folks going to fuck this up. Coleman Domingo is going to nail it. Billy Porter is going to nail it. Michael B. Jordan, I'm sure he'll be there. We'll nail it. I wish my king, Chadwick Boseman, would be there because he would nail it. Will Morris Chestnut be there? You think Morris Chestnut will make it to the Met Gala? He's on that CBS show. He keeps a network job. They've been sending him out and about. Him and Miss Pam been out on the town. You think he'll make it to the Met Gala? I would love to see him put his shit on. I had some other thoughts after that. I'm going to just leave it there. The Met Gala covers for Vogue just came out. A$AP Rocky, Pharrell Williams, or at least like an artistic rendering of Pharrell. Somebody the other day was online and was like, I've heard rumors about Pharrell. They were like, in public, he acts like he's like this artsy, well-seasoned, well-cultured black dude. But like, in real life, like he's just like a nigga for real. And I was like, he's from Hampton Roads, Virginia. Have you dated one of them before? Girl. And then what's the other guy? Hamilton Lewis, the race cars. He's on the Vogue cover. I'm pulling up the Vogue site now. Lewis Hamilton, not Hamilton Lewis. Lewis Hamilton. He cute though. His little braids. He got forehead. It's giving East Africa. I'm not saying it in a bad way. They know they got like large foreheads. They know. I'm not being funny. It's true. He's giving East Africa. Rocky is the only one that really surprised me. Never in a million years, unless it was with Rihanna, did I ever see A$AP Rocky straight off a case to the cover of Vogue. If that man ain't a legendary American story, he's on the cover of Vogue by himself in green corduroy. I'm happy for him. You never could have told me fucking Problems Rocky was going to end up on the cover of Vogue. You know how old people be like, just keep living. Just keep living. Apparently I've lived because I didn't see this. He has on green corduroy. Like I'm zooming in on it. It's legit. Like it's a green corduroy suit and some cornrows. They fresh. They not no Jim Jones cornrows. He got a little brooch. I don't even think this is the best picture. I was on, was it La Roach? I was on his page and he had some behind the scenes photos. I think he did the styling for Rocky for this one. But they had the behind the scenes at the photo shoot and Rocky was striking a whole bunch of different photos. It's a fine photo for the cover of Vogue. But I was like, Essence would have picked a different cover and I would have liked it better. I'm just saying. And then there's this photo of Rocky with some Dalmatians. Like he has on a trench that's lined with polka dots and some polka dot pants. And then some dogs, the Dalmatian dogs. It's very Disney villain. And I was like, La Roche did this? I think so. Photograph written by, styled by Luxury Law. There we go. Yeah. Oh, this is probably my favorite. He's standing in the middle of the street of Harlem. It's a brownstone in the background. It could be Brooklyn. Let's go with Harlem. Actually, I think I read it was the photo shoot was in Harlem. So let's go with that. It's like they went and got all this. Not even they went and got. They called Louis Vuitton and was like, we need some trunks. He's standing in the middle of Harlem with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 trunks and a hat case. And like the good vintage trunks. They sexy. I wonder if these are made in China too. Y'all saw that? The people that work in the Chinese factories were like, hey, y'all think y'all buying all this luxury shit? They charging y'all $30,000 for a bag. It took us $300 to make. We make everything and then we ship it to them and they put it together so they can put made in Italy or made in France. And then the Nigerians entered the chat and was like, yeah. All that, that leather that y'all think y'all getting from some cows in Italy, that's Nigerian leather. Just FYI, we've been supplying Europe for years. We got cows. I was like, wait, what? Then all the people who work in manufacturing were like, "Yeah, that's been a secret for years. Yep, yep, yep. That's accurate. Yeah." I'm just looking at these Rocky photos. He's dressed like kind of like Duke Ellington. I mean, it's giving dandy. I told y'all I was really scared when Rihanna got with him. Not even got with him, when she had the baby with him, and I was like, "Girl, like, what are you doing?" She saw vision. She saw vision. She had vision. He's cute in the face, and he does have energy. And the kids are cute. He gave them good genes. He seems to be an excellent father. Oh, here's him with his Grandma Kathy. He was talking about his grandmother has a crush on Coleman Domingo. She was like, "And Duke." I love Black people. What else do we have in here? Oh, Kiki. We're supposed to do this interview with Jonathan Majors. And then on the day that her episode was supposed to come out, she switched the interview and she was doing it with Cash Doll instead. So oddly enough, people were mad at Kiki for not running the Jonathan Majors interview, or at least not on the main platform. I think she has like something I think she has like a subscriber page. And so she put the interview over there, but she didn't run it on her main platform. But people were mad at her and they were like, "Why don't you support him? Support the Black man?" And I was like, I don't understand how that interview happened to begin with. Like, nobody on your team pointed out, like, the very obviousness of why this is a bad choice. You took your child's father to court and shared screenshots of him physically abusing you. And then you're platforming a man who is convicted. People be like, "Oh, it's a misdemeanor." He was still found guilty of laying hands on the lady. But he's convicted of violence with his ex-girlfriend, and it is also, like, just not even a month ago, was on audio confessing to strangling that same girlfriend. There's also been multiple women, yes, I'm going to mention this every time he comes up. Multiple women have accused him of violence against them, including an ex, I think it was the fiance, that said that he strangled her as well and threatened to kill her, and also, I think, himself. Like, the nigga's unhinged. Why would you, as a survivor of domestic violence, platform him? For what? He don't really care about being on your show. He's only using you, your wide platform of viewers, yes. But you specifically as a Black woman, okay, like if Kiki's like cool with sitting down with him and she'll have a conversation with him, well, he can't be but so bad. He's using your goodwill to gain goodwill. How do women not see this? Kiki had no business having a conversation with him. She had no business with her name, her good name. Dude, we've been knowing Kiki Palmer since she was a little girl. We made it through all of Kiki's teen years and up until she was like in her late 20s. She got with her child's father with no drama, no scandal, no court cases, no leaked audio, like nothing. We made it through 16 to 26 with no drama. Kiki is in good standing. She's good with the people. That's all he wants to be on her show for, so he can use her goodwill to get some goodwill of his own. He thought Mary and Meghan would do that for him. He thought being with Meghan, Mary and Meghan would do that for him. His film flopped. Everybody says it's amazing, but the film flopped. Someone in Kiki's camp had the good sense to be like, "Nah, we're not airing this. We don't need the smoke. We don't want the smoke." Some people like the smoke. Matt Barnes likes the smoke. His little friend that gets on my fucking nerves likes the smoke. I cannot remember that man's name. He pisses me off so bad, but he ain't said nothing stupid as of late, so I let him be. They want the smoke. Somebody in Kiki's camp was like, "No, no smoke for us. No smoke." Put the Cash Doll interview up. Better choice. Jonathan Majors also went on to Cam Newton. Went over to Cam Newton's show. I'm never going to watch that. People are like, "Oh, Demetria, you talk about pop culture. Like, you absolutely have to watch it." I'm not doing that to myself. I'm not listening to Cam Newton, who likes to shove it up old girl's ass. She's the one that told the story. I don't like it, but he likes it, so I do it anyway. Does he know you don't like it? Yeah, he knows. Okay, girl. I'm not listening to a man who likes to shove it up this chick's ass, knowing she doesn't like it. And then Jonathan Majors, the strangler, have a conversation about anything. Like, Demetria, isn't there redemption? Can't there possibly be redemption? Don't you say there's grace for those that seek it? Tell me about the time he sought grace. He talks in big, lofty terms about like, oh, these things happen and I had to go through this. I saw the clip from him and Cam Newton, and he was saying that he would take everything that he's been through, like the embarrassment, the humiliation, the depression, and all of it, because, it got him his wife. Sir, you didn't endure shit. You paid the consequences for your bad fucking decision. Had you not strangled, had you not beat, had you not scratched or whatever happened to that lady's finger that night in the car, had you not done all the shit that night and all the nights leading up to it, you wouldn't have been in the situation you were in. Things didn't happen to you. You did a series of fucked up shit and ended up paying the consequences for it with your career. There are consequences when you do dumb shit. And you can't just let time pass and that makes things better. You actually have to be accountable. You actually have to take responsibility for your shit. Own your shit. Name your shit. Apologize for your shit to the people that you harmed. And maybe they're just like, hey, fuck you. But still, like, you have to do your part to make something wrong right. He's not doing that. Just as a general observation, not saying most men that I encounter don't have a concept of that. He's not even giving us the starting point. Like, you sat on TV and be like, I never harmed a woman. Never. You've gotten the New York Times. I've never harmed a woman. Never laid hands on a woman. Absolutely not. Never. That's not the man that I am. That's not how I was raised. I was never. Now there's audio of you doing it. And never just be like, you know what? I lied because I was embarrassed. I lied because I was ashamed. Like, I had to get help because I am a broken person. Just skip over the whole thing happened. These things happened to me. They didn't. Oh, last on our list, we didn't do no types of order today. We just talked about literally the list that I made of all the things that are happening that needed to be discussed. The women who went to space, people were really upset that Gail went to space. I think I spoke about it when it was first announced. I think, because sometimes I talk about stuff and then when I go through and post and do the edits, you don't hear it. If I did leave it in here, I think my commentary on it was like, good for Gail. I didn't have a problem with her going to space. I thought Gail in space was a fine idea. It didn't bother me. I mean, she looked like a nervous wreck, but I'm also the same person that runs around to tell people, like, do it scared. It's an opportunity to go to space. Apparently, it's like $15 million. Don't nobody want to pay that out of pocket, even people with money. So you get like a free ride to space. I would go to space. On Bezos's thing, even though I don't fuck with Bezos, but I would take the ride to space. I would take a free ride to space with Bezos. I wouldn't go on Elon Musk joint. Because the last time you tried to send something up, didn't it blow up? I'm good. I think I've read like 56 people who've gone to space on one of the Bezos ships. I would go to space with Bezos just to say I went to space. Like, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I don't think you get 2 offers in a lifetime to go to space. I would go to space, even scared. And people complain. They were like, what is this feminist shit? This, like, they're sending the women to space. At the same time, they're like cutting NASA. And I was like, that's a valid complaint. That's a valid complaint. Y'all trying to make a big deal about like space exploration and women in space. And they were like, yeah, but y'all are also doing this DEI shit where y'all are getting women out of STEM and women are often not in STEM because what did I read? Like the hostility and the violence that women in STEM face, because it's like predominantly men and the men treat the women like shit, just kind of like they do in the armed forces. And I was like, oh, but people aren't addressing why more women aren't in STEM or aren't in science or aren't in NASA, but you're sending these women to space. And I was like, now that's valid. But then people were like, they got on full faces of makeup and like, weave hair and, sexy spacesuits to go to space. And I was like, well, it's a commercial for Jeff Bezos's product, is it not? I assume that's what it was. People were making it out to be like there was some deeper meaning to it. And I was like, no, like Bezos is, charging people millions of dollars to go to space on his rocket ships and getting these celebrity women and filming the whole thing. Like, that's part of the commercial, right? And then the media is all bought into it. So it's giving free advertising. Like, it's a brilliant PR campaign. Like, that's what I thought it was, because there's no other valid reason for like his fiance and like Gayle King and like the other women that were aboard, Katy Perry. There was no real reason for them to go into space other than, they have large platforms that reach a lot of people, and putting them all together, like, the media will cover it. I did see people point out and they were like, it's been 60 years since the last like all flight of women went to space. And I was like, that's a problem. And they were like, those women were actually astronauts, and these women are, just public figures, popular public figures. And I was like, okay, like I see the issue, but I was like, and still, if I was Gail and I got an offer to go to space, scared or not, like I would do exactly like Gail did. I would walk around looking absolutely terrified in my spacesuit and my full face of makeup and my good wig in space. All right, I think I covered a bunch of stuff. Still not everything. Last week, y'all was mad. Y'all were like, you only talked for 22 minutes. I was like, y'all counted? Did. Whole episode. Nothing but me. Y'all should be sick of the sound of my voice at this point. We'll be back. The next 2 weeks might be a little chaotic. There'll be an episode. I'm not sure if it's going to be Wednesday or what time it's going to drop on Wednesday, but this is me giving you a heads up. It's a 10-day trip, 2 Tuesdays. That's when I record in the trip. And they're both packed days, and I have to be present to the people that, flew across the ocean to like hang out and gallivant and drink wine. I'll figure it out to the best of my ability. Okay? We'll talk next week. Bye. Oh my God. I've been leaving voice notes for people because I have like a lot of stuff going on. So it's easier to like just do a voice note. I, out of habit, have been sending kisses at the end of my voice notes when I say bye, because I'm like, okay, bye. I always do it here, and I've started doing it in regular voice notes. And one of my friends called me out on it and was like, she was responding to my voice note, and then she was like, okay, I sound like you. And I was like, oh. And I asked people, I was like, oh my God, have I been like sending kisses at the end of voice notes? And they were like, yeah, it's funny because like it feels like I'm listening to like a personal episode of your podcast. Like I love when you send voice notes. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like embarrassed. Okay, now we're done. No kiss. Bye. God, that was awkward.